Hi everyone, this is Renee Francis with A Matter of Perception. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the missing young woman, Monica Sykes, out of St. Louis, Missouri, Berkeley to be exact. And we have good information on the last time that she was seen, and we also have her birth date, and we were giving a good time between 8 and 8:30 for her birth. And we are hopefully going to be instrumental in searchers using our map to look for this young lady. Okay, so let me just go through what's going to be on her page here at our site is her interactive map. You can actually peruse her map on her page, but it's best if you visit this link, and that's where I'm going to go later in this video and actually show you how to break down all these folders and look at this map so that it's not overwhelming. So you can turn things on, you can turn things off by just clicking these eyes, okay? You can also go full screen here, but again, I want you to use this link here because you'll be able to get satellite. But anyway, let's move down further. And so what we've done is we've patterned out all the planets as they were when she disappeared, when she was last seen. Okay, these are those measurements that are going to give us distance, and these are the true north vector bearings that we drew for our patterns to show direction. And then we also have it for her birth. And then down here, we've actually did some interpretation of her birth chart. And I'm going to get back to this very quickly and go over all those things. In the meantime, I want you to understand, if you do not know what it is that we do here at A Matter of Perception, for the last close to 30 years now, it's going on. We have been doing a unique study on disappearance cases, abduction cases, and we've been measuring the point of abduction or disappearance to the point of recovery, and we've been measuring those points in their true north vector bearings, okay, and their miles. So let me just roll down here to a case. Right now there's, I think, 40 cases here. We're going to be presenting and illustrating 100 of them, and every one of these children and adults that are on this page are standing behind us and supporting the work that we do here, that we can actually use the planets to find the missing. Now, we do not expect that our work that we do here is to replace sound investigative procedures. We believe and are committed to illustrating how, if it can be used alongside investigative procedures, that it could be the tool and the instrument that helps find our missing. Okay, so let's take a look at Hannah Graham, because she's an adult, and I just wanted to show you a case that's a little bit similar to the predicament that we have Monica in right now. Although Hannah Graham did not know her abductor, she sort of just met up with him on September 13th at 1 a.m. But what we noted here was that, I'm going to turn on a little marker here and mark this up, is that she was last seen here with Jesse Matthews at 1:18 in the morning, okay, and her remains were recovered here in an abandoned house, okay. The distance from this point to this point we measured to be 10.4 miles. Now, this is not driving miles, this is direct, okay. So we cited that here that we had 11, and Pluto is also 11. So we have the distance actually being offered to us with this measurement here. But the exact distance was actually 10.4 miles, okay? So it was coming up to be 11. It wasn't quite there. But this will actually show you that when you look at our planetary patterns that we made on behalf of Monica, we want you to understand that these radiuses are guidelines, okay? Sometimes they're found on an exact planetary measurement. Sometimes it's a little before or a little after. Same with the line, okay? So when she disappeared, okay, the moon and Saturn and Jupiter were forming a T-square with one another, okay? And so this is that planetary pattern drawn out on a map, okay? And she was found right here on it, okay? Sometimes you're going to see that if you peruse the cases that are on this page, that sometimes they're found on the finishing point, which would be, the finishing point would be this end here, okay? Because in order for this to be, the moon is square here, and Jupiter is square Saturn. So this is 90 degrees, then this is 90 degrees. But we need a finishing point here, because sometimes, like I said, they're found on finishing points. So this is 90 and 90, so we still want to include this point here, and that's what dotted lines will mean when you look at Monica's map. But over and over again, on these cases that are here, we are showing you and illustrating how both disappearance in red and birth is showing us that they're coming up on their patterns, okay? So that's what we've been doing, and we are actually shooting for nonprofit status so that we do not have to ask family and search and rescue groups to have to pay for our service. Right now, my partner and I, it is all, we've been doing the hard work for 30 years, and we are on track to get nonprofit status so that we can look for the donations to keep us afloat and to keep us being able to work up these cases as quickly as possible as they occur. Anyway, let's get back to Monica Sykes, and what we're going to do here is let's go down to her birth chart down here. Okay, when we work on a missing person case, we have to actually think, what are we looking for? Are we looking for remains, or are we looking for a live female? Sadly, I have to conclude here that I think we are going to be looking for remains. And before I can draw that conclusion, I go through everything in this chart. I want to see the position of, in a woman's chart, the moon is the most crucial point to her health. In a male chart, the sun is. Okay, and I'm finding that I have a problem with Monica's progressed moon at the time of her disappearance, and I have a problem with her natal moon at the time of her birth. Okay, we have natally it's squared this, which would indicate, I have them all listed here on what I think, and then we have transits to them, but there's just too many indicators here indicating to me that at this time when she disappeared, the likelihood that she's still with us, it's just not there. I would not say that you are looking for a live female, and that we should put our sights towards remains. Of course, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. But again, I could be wrong, but I have to make the call, because if my map and my work is going to serve Monica and her family, I have to call it the way I see it. Anyway, let's just talk about Monica for a minute. Let me just get rid of some of this stuff, okay? So we have all this Aries here that she has, okay? So headstrong, not afraid of a confrontation. Aries are usually the heroes of the zodiac, so there's not too much that they are afraid of. She could, with all this lineup of planets in this sixth house, this is usually how we take care of our own bodies, that I would like to think that she took care of herself. She did a good job in how she ate, and she probably didn't really need a lot of physical stuff to work out. She probably just had one naturally born good physique, naturally born, probably really didn't have to work too hard at it. Could be changeful at times, like onto something new all the time, because her moon here, the same aspect that says that her life would end early is the same aspect that gives her that her little zest for life that she had, and always up for a little excitement. She was probably like the most fun person in the room when she was there, and a lot of people probably would have to get a little extra sleep to keep up with her. Anyway, I also see that, what I don't like in her chart here, and I'll bring this up, is the fact that she has her Mars here in Cancer, okay? Sometimes for a woman, it's not the best place for Mars to be in a woman's chart, because she'll gear towards men that are needy. And not only that, but by progression, when this disappearance happened, her Venus had already moved into, progressed into Cancer. So let me explain this for a minute. When she was born, her Venus was in Gemini, okay? So when Venus is in Gemini, that's relationships, that's love affairs, her having one or more, two love interests at the same time is likely. She can incline to that, and not that that's a bad thing. A girl should always have her options. The problem with it is that the gentleman, I guess, that she chooses is not going to have a good, it's not going to be good with that. And I think that that's where the problem lies here. Let me also say this real quick. The fact that her progressed Venus here was moving into a new sign. When she was born, it was 0 degrees Gemini. So for the first 25 years of her life, the Venus is moving by progression through Gemini. Okay, so she probably had a lot of different beaux here and there. She probably was never, short of, a love interest. But at the time of this disappearance, Venus had moved into Cancer. So now she might be wanting to settle down a little bit more roots, because when you think about the sign of Cancer, it wants roots, it wants a home base. So she could have been getting a little bit more serious at this time in her life of wanting somebody, a relationship that she could count on. And that means that anybody who is in that relationship prior to then, I'm going to say that when she disappeared, it's 35 minutes in. So I'm going to say that maybe 3 months prior to her disappearance, she's starting to feel the effect of Venus moving into a new sign. She could have changed her hairstyle, because Venus rules her hair, rules her skin. She could have, when Venus moved into Cancer, she could have had more concern over her skin, maybe, a new health regimen for her skin, or new skin products, change her hair. But she'd also maybe want to change the relationship in her life and her love interest, especially when girls hit 23, 24, 25 years old. Jupiter starts to play in. They're no longer in their Venus-Mars sexual periods. They're more or less in where they want to expand. They want somebody who's got something going on. So her sights may have geared towards that way, and maybe this is the reason why there seems to be 2 male interests at this time in her life, at the time of this disappearance as well. So, but I want to know, let me just clear this off, because I want to know who could hurt her. And, that to me is going to be described by this here and this here. But we were told that she was born in between 8 and 8:30. So at 8 o'clock, we have Libra rising at 29 degrees. This means that just 5 minutes after 8 o'clock, she could have Scorpio rising, because it'd be the next sign coming up. Okay. So I think with what we have, the predicament that we have at this time in her life, I'm going to make the call that I think that she has Scorpio rising. So if she has Scorpio rising, that means that the sign on this cusp, her opponent, is going to be Taurus, would be here, because now this would be up here, Taurus is going to be here. Now understand that when the time of our birth sets the stage to where all these planets are going to fall. Okay, the Earth makes a revolution once, and so this east point of the horizon is critical in our birth charts, because it's the sign that was at the most east point of the horizon at the time of our birth. So in the course of one day, from midnight to midnight of the possibility of someone's birth, every one of the signs is going to pass this most east point. Okay, and it's going to set up to where all these other planets are going to fall. So if I change this and I bring this and I give it Scorpio, then I'm just going to shift this whole chart down a little bit. And so if this is her in her head, this is her opponent, whether it's for good or evil. This is going to tell me about the relationships that she's in. Okay, so if we have Taurus here, okay, which I think that it is, okay, so that means that the person who's going to hurt her is ruled by this here and this here, okay? So if Venus is ruling her opponent, the person who's going to hurt her, and it's enshrined to Saturn, that's going to tell me that this person, because it's in Gemini, is immature, for one, okay? There's something that immature about him. This could also indicate to me, because it's in Gemini and it's trying to Saturn, that he may be even living with family that may not be, not his wife and kids, but maybe his grandmother or cousins, that he's not living on his own. He's not in his own apartment, that this person is actually living with other family members, whether they're brothers and sisters, aunts, uncles, grandmother, whatever. It also indicates to me again that he's immature, okay, because of the fact that Venus is in this house, and she would probably still even be in this house if Monica's born at 8:30. This would also indicate to me how she died, and Venus rules the throat, and Saturn, it's trine Saturn, so this could indicate that she could have been strangled. She died from a lack of air, because Venus is in an air sign. But I want to say that because all of this stuff is in Aries, okay, that wasn't the only damage that was done to her. I want to kind of think that if Mars was here, and we have Mars here, that there was probably a little bit more physical action even before that point. But again, without an exact time, I pretty much have to be a little bit lenient in here. Without a person of interest, I can't really tell, without a birthday for a person of interest, it would be hard for me to say how she exactly passed. But I do not like all this Aries, okay, and I don't like it here. It would indicate to me some fighting going on before that the strangulation could have been the last part of it, okay. What else can I say here? I'm going to be thinking out loud here for a second. Let me just look around here. Oh, location. That's what I wanted to get to. I'm sorry. Okay, so location, the same planet that is ruling this part here, okay, Venus, is also ruling remains, okay? The nadir of our charts, this area of our charts, is our resting place, okay? One of the reasons why we thought that this would be a good case to work on is because we actually believe that Monica can be found, okay? Because this is the resting place, and the ruler of it is here and here, okay? Aquarius has two rulers, Saturn first, Uranus second. And Saturn is trine to Venus, and it's an immutable sign of Aries. So that means to us two places. That means that we can find her, that she could have two resting places. So we're going to go with that here. Now, another thing is if I wasn't looking at transits and I wasn't looking at progressions, the temperature I'm getting for what kind of environment she could be in is a busy one. I don't want to say there's no vegetation involved, but I want to say that it could be near railroad tracks, or it could be near something that has to do with air, which is an airport. It could also be there's a good chance that she's in the water. I think that you need to set your sights towards the water because of this, okay? Her progressed moon is, why is this small? Okay, her progressed moon here is in Pisces. That's water. It's in trine to Pluto in her chart. That's more water. It is in a trining Mars. That's more water. Even though this is doesn't have any connection to the fourth of her resting place, I want to say that she would be near and in water, but it's still going to be near places that are busy, something that's industrial where transportation takes place. I don't think this person drove all the way out into a wooded area and there's just nothing surrounded but woods, within a 2-mile, 3-mile radius. I have a feeling that she's probably in a patch of water or land that is surrounded by busyness, whether they be roads or their railroad tracks or their, industry where transportation and shipping take place. So I would say to set your sights towards those areas. So anyway, and I'm wondering, while I was working on this, she has Jupiter really high up here in her chart, and I'm wondering if she was a gambler of sorts, if she liked going to the casinos, or if she enjoyed doing some kind of work that allowed her to be free Like I'm not so sure that Monica liked any kind of supervision in her job. I think that she would excel better if she was her own supervisor and was able to, have freedom of movement in whatever she did for a living. And I don't think I came across anything during the few articles that I read today on her case. But she, like I said, she would excel with anything that she was allowed to be free, and she's the kind of gal that you want. Aries likes to do one project, go on to the next, go on to the next, go on to the next, and they leave behind for the people who are more fixed to finish those things. And that's not a bad trait. That's actually a good trait. It's selfish, and it just wants to keep on moving on. They're pioneers, and so whatever she'd done, however she excelled, it would be a good way to for her to be in some kind of job that she didn't have any kind of supervision. She would excel the best. On another note, all that Aries that inclines her to that also makes her very confrontational, and she, probably got into it with this boyfriend of hers, and he did not like the idea that she was having a change of heart about him. So I'm going to leave it there. I know that there was another person involved here, and I think we want to look at the guy who actually, she was seen getting into his car, and I think it's sometimes the obvious answer is the right answer. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to go now, and we're going to go into her map. And I apologize, I am doing this off the cuff. So as I said, you can access her map from here. Okay, and I will put a link in here to her video so you can access this video from her page as well. Her interactive map. So I'll click on this and use this on a desktop. Okay, because you will be able to get you'll be able to do some look at it with Scribble Maps satellite view. Okay. Right, you'll be able to look at it like that. If you're on her page and her map in here, you will not get that option. See down here, a satellite view. Okay, so I'm going to leave it right there for right now. Okay, and we're going to go over and we're going to look at some of the places where Monica could be. Okay, so all these folders right here, this is how we work. Okay, you can shut them all off and you can turn them all on. I suggest that while you're getting familiar with this map, that you turn everything off and turn things on one by one. Okay, so in this folder, you can open this up and you can see all the different locations. This is where she left her house. This is a phone ping. Is that on? Where's that phone ping? Okay. Here's Rolling Hills Drive. I guess this is where his person of interest's car was found burnt. And then this is, what is this? Oh, and this is, I guess, where he lived. Okay. So you can leave all those on. They're important to leave on because I want to show you where some of these lines we're going over. Okay. I wish I can actually expand this whole video map a little bit bigger than the window I'm in right now, but I have to keep it 720 so that so that you can actually see this stuff in when it gets imported as a video. All right. Anyway, so then here's hotspots that we highlighted. Okay, we highlighted all these hotspots. Okay, and you can turn them on, you can turn them off. And April did a really great job on pulling this map together. She's a godsend. She really works hard at pulling these maps together, and she came up with. I have to say, when we went over this case together today, to get familiar with me doing this video. I have to agree that I like all the hotspots that she put out here. So again, I know that there's a lot of hotspots in here, but what do you know about the case? What do you know about your person of interest? What do the police know? What do you know about the area? Where could someone go? And once we start talking about these lines, where could they go and hide her? Okay, so here's the disappearance. Okay, and I'm going to shut that off. Okay, all right, so here's all the radiuses that April drew out for this. Okay, there's a lot. Okay, she went out 179 miles. Now, is that even an option here on this case? I don't know. What do you know? What kind of timeline is there available for him to have gone such a distance? We drew it out 179 miles because we want to cover our bases. Okay, and April probably saw something in the chart that either summed to this number, and what is 179? That's That's 179. That's Scorpio. So she might have pulled this out for the measurement of Pluto or something. Okay, but here's 57 miles. She added up the sum of the moon Pluto, okay, which is a very smart thing to do. Because let me just real quick. Disappearance charts down here. Okay, so we drew out distances for all here, but what happens? These planets will only go to 30 before they change into another sign and be 1 degrees. So sometimes people do go further than 30 miles. So how are we going to get further than 30 miles? We have to start adding what's conjuncted together, okay? Because they're giving each other power, so they give the numbers together power as well. Okay, so when you look at all these radiuses, that's why they're there. They are not there because we guess. They are not there because we think. They are there because the planets are measuring those numbers. Okay, and that's where we want you. That's where we want you to be, to understand that you can either turn them on or turn them off. So if you want to turn 6 miles on, you can turn 6 miles on. Okay, and you can use these plus and minus signs to make the map bigger and smaller. Okay, so I tend to shut them off, all of them, while you're looking. You can turn them all on, but if you turn them all on, it's going to get real busy real quick, and I don't want you to get okay. Remember, we are giving you all the possibilities that the planets are offering. Okay, that we're not coming up. This is not just coming out of our, we're a guess. Okay. All right. So you can actually close that window so that you avail to yourself room here, because once you open that radius up, you're going to see how now you have to use this to scroll down to get to the patterns. Okay. And each one of the patterns has a folder: the Sun Mercury conjunction, the Sun Mercury midheaven,
aspect, Moon Jupiter Pluto square, Moon Jupiter Neptune. We've covered all the patterns. Now, I just wanted to bring to your attention that April put a little star against this Moon Mars Pluto conjunction because it's pulling out to where they found his car burnt. Okay, so at the time, Mars and Pluto were conjunct at this crime, and from where he picked her up, there's his car. Okay, so could she be on one of these other ones? Of course. Okay, but again, what do you know? Okay, so if I turn this one on and I start from the top and I do the Sun Mercury conjunction, let me pull up that chart here. Okay, so this is the Sun Mercury right here. Okay, so that's that pattern. Let me put that down in there. I might have this come up. So that's this pattern right here. Okay, so that's this the Sun Mercury trine. Right now, so when I say I think that she could be on water, are these areas right here? Could this be possible? During your search, has any of these waterways been sonared? Another thing is that while today I was becoming familiar with Monica's case, I had did a little search about. I just want to see if I can get a picture of one of the persons of interest and just kind of get a feeling or something for him, and then I came across the fact that there were remains covered right here. April had already hotspotted this days ago, and she does have the trine going through this area right here. So I understand that it's 6 weeks out until you find out whether or not it could be Monica. I don't know. Excuse me, by the looks of things, it could actually be her. What I find strange is the fact that, it's 3 months, and I'm wondering why they couldn't make a positive ID a little sooner if it is her. So so this area where remains were found, which you're waiting for DNA on, it was cited as one of these hot spots. So, I don't know, but just in case it's not her, let's continue. Okay, so then we have another Sun, Mercury to the mid, which squared. Okay,
So this is that conjunction, but in this aspect here, we're trining it. Okay, we're giving it a 120-degree angle between this point, and this point, and this point. Okay, but it also squares. We also square it out. Okay, and now this is where cell ping's happening. Okay, so this area could be good. There's a good chance that, there's a good chance that maybe the remain sphere could be. I don't know, but let's continue. All right, so now you have a Moon, Jupiter, Venus, which is, let's get that chart up. Okay, so we have a Moon, Jupiter, sextile to Venus. Okay, so that's what this pattern is. All right, and again, we have the Moon and Jupiter is actually where the line was coming over this way with Scorpio. Now it's coming over this way. So again, it's coming up. Okay. Then here we have a Moon, Jupiter. Why is that any different? Okay, so this is just its square. This is actually the another. It's coming up again, okay? But I would look at all of these. I mean, is there, how far can we go down here? Let's see how far this radius is. What's this radius right here? And if you highlight these, they're going to color for you so you know what you're looking at. See that? I know that that's 4 miles. This one's 5 miles. Then we have 6 miles, 9 miles. Okay, how far? What's his timeline? When did this guy leave? When did he get home? Did he have to go to work? Like, what's his timeline? How far could he have really gotten to do something with her? Okay, and then we have some water things over here that's pulling out too. So what's over here near, St. Charles? April doesn't have no hot spots over this way. And here's a casino right over here. And like I said, I was talking before, I don't know if Monica had anything to do with casinos, or she liked going to them, or she liked to gamble. But, when I was looking at her chart, I got this feeling of casinos for some reason. I know there seems to be a lot of them hot spotted over here. I was thinking that maybe April said that she wanted to put a folder in here of the casinos. Oh, yeah, here they are. Oh, good. She started that. That's good. Okay, so we can turn that on. See? Look. Now we have one here. Where else do we have one? Here. So why was I here in casinos? I don't know. Did she like going to them, or is this maybe something that she's, kind of bringing up and, waving her hand in front of me, saying that maybe that she could be near something like this? Where did they go when she got in his car? Where did they go? Did they go park somewhere? I don't know. Is that any of these things, pertinent to places that she would go and frequent with him, or places that he knows? But this area over here wasn't hot spotted, but I wouldn't rule it out. Just because we hot spotted it doesn't mean that if we didn't hot spot it, it's not a good spot. We just, you got to apply what you know with the area. So those are, so that's the Moon, Jupiter. And then, let's see. And then we have the in conjunction. Okay. So we have another area being pulled down here towards St. Louis. And then we have the Venus, Saturn. So again, I think we got another one going. Oh, no, that's not going over there. Yeah, this airport bothers me because it's busy. It's noisy. Okay, and I kind of get the feeling that where she is, like I said, how far do you got to go to get into a big wooded, quiet area here? Let me see. Let me turn this satellite on. I mean, it looks like it's pretty busy there to me. Like you'd have to drive a ways to get into something, really, really secluded. So, and another thing is that I kind of think that if you put her in the water, I kind of feel that because of the progressions in her chart, that Venus Saturn's also going to say that she could be in, wrapped in some kind of cloth. I'm not going to say a blanket. Because I don't think he would have used a blanket. I don't think if he would take the risk of her being found and having a blanket connect to him. But he probably could have used a tarp or a cloth, painter's cloth or something like that. But this airport is really bothering me in here because we got railroad tracks over here. Do we have railroad tracks over here? Yeah. So this area over here looks good. For the noise, for the transportation that I mentioned earlier when we were going over a chart. So, like I said, you turn these on one by one, okay? This is the Mars Pluto to trine that's going to where where his car was found. And then we have the Mars Pluto square again going through this was it Kinloch area. Okay, so that's the disappearance chart. Okay, so you can turn them on, turn them off, and so it's not too busy for you while you're looking. Okay, then we did her birth chart. Okay, so then you can go in here and turn that on and see what else is lining up. Because remember, if you don't forget that if you come over here to our study and you look at these cases, we are actually starting to list both, okay? How the birth chart and how the disappearance chart gave us distance and gave us direction, okay? So is it going to do for Monica? Her chart is going to confirm these places. So look, we got another line. What line is this? This is her. Hold on, let me pull up her chart here for a second. Let's get Monica. Okay, here is her birth chart. Okay, and the aspect that I have turned on right now, which one do I have turned on right now? This is her Uranus, Neptune, Pluto sextile. Okay, so that's this aspect. The Uranus, Pluto, Neptune sextile. These are sextile. Okay, so to understand what we've did here, okay, let me turn on, let's do yellow. To understand what we've did here, this planet and this planet are sextile. They're 60 degrees from one another, okay? All right, so this point has another point that's 60 degrees from it, so we had to do this, okay? Then this point has another end to it, and this point has another end to it, okay? So that's where we're getting our sextile from, okay? That's what that is. That's covering this aspect, both sides of it. So this is sextile to this, and this point sextile to that, and then we just continue it all the way around. Okay, so that's how that works. That's why you're going to see so many of these dotted lines. But the missing show up on the sextiles too, so it's very important, okay, that we pay attention to that one. So let me just put this chart down again. So that's that aspect. Come on down. Come on. Okay, so here we see in her aspect that a self ping is coming over here and his resonance. So her own sextile between Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune is giving us a cell ping, and it's giving us his resonance. Okay, so what else? So what else is it giving us? Okay, what's over here? Okay, I think this is this is when we start looking at this, and that's how we come up with citing these hot spots. Okay. And remember, you want to look at it like this because you're going to see like a big patch of land out here, where you don't have too many houses anymore. Well, what is it? Is it a park? Could somebody get in there? If this happened 7:30 in the morning, she left with him. I mean, what time, did he have to go to work that night? What's the timeline? Again, all this has to be considered against what is actually coming to light through the investigation. Okay, here is her, here's the conjunction of her Neptune-Uranus square. Okay, her conjunction, we squared it out, right? And then here's Jupiter-Saturn opposition, squared out. Okay, again, it's coming up with the cell phone ping. So what's, so sometimes what we find in a lot of these cases that, something's here, follow the line out a little bit further. Where's it going? It's going out to the Missouri River here. What's here? What's this? What's this area, the Saint conservation area? Okay, are there, what is it? Is it busy? Okay. Again, it's if it's near the airport, is it a flight path? I don't know. What are the vector bearings going out of this airport? Airports are all the compass bearings. Airports and their runways are based on compass bearings. So in order for a pilot to come and land into St. Louis Airport, they got to know what this compass bearing is, and they have to set their course for that. In order for him to leave, they have to know the compass bearing that they're leaving to leave that airport. Okay, so sometimes and then also I think commercial airlines have to be at least like 5,000 feet above before they can turn. So when a plane leaves this way, he's got to get to the height of 5,000 or 35,000 feet or 50,000 feet, I forget what it is, before he can turn. Okay. And so that means that when he leaves here, the noise of his plane is over this area. So I just get the feeling that because of her own Venus-Saturn trine, that it's noisy. That where she is, it's noisy. Okay, it's not nice and quiet. All right, so that's that one. Mars-Saturn. We have that one there. Okay, so even this one, we got his house and we got the cell ping. Venus, Jupiter, sextile. Okay, again, it seems like it keeps on coming up, and then we're back here with this area where remains were just found, waiting for ID. Moon, Mars square. Okay. Again, this area seems to be coming up again, but that's not the only area. If it's not her, let's go out a little bit further. Okay, now we're going over this area again too, right? So what I'm saying is turn them on and off individually and look where they're going. Here's all her radiuses based on the mileage. Okay, you can turn these on and turn them off. Okay, you can turn 13 miles on. Okay, and as you move through them, they're going to light up, so you'll be able to see how many miles you are. And then just go ahead and close them so that you can access these folders. So I think I know there's a lot of folders here. I know there's a lot of options, but both April and I are convinced that if this crime against her was a crime of passion, he had to work fast and impulsive. So I would think that she is going to be on one of these lines, on one of these patterns, not only in her own folder, okay, but in the disappearance. So once you start becoming, don't just look at this for 10 minutes. You need to make love to it. You need to sit down here and look at it for an hour and a half, and really start, honing in on these areas. Turn the satellite on and see what's possible. Okay, again, this is not magic. It really needs to be looked at with some intelligence, with some knowledge of the area and what is known about your person of interest and his whereabouts that day, what's common to him, places where he used to work. If he got rid of her sometime during the day, in daylight, he had to feel confident going to that area. He had to feel secure going to that area. So that's it. I think that's enough. We are at like 41 minutes right now. So what I'm going to do here is leave it there and wish your search well. And I hope that our map helps you find Monica and bring her home. God bless, and April and I will keep our fingers crossed. If you have any questions, we're here to answer them. And that's it. Come on home, Monica. Your family loves you and misses you, and they need to know where you are. So come home. Okay? Talk to her. Ask her. Tell her to tell you. When we pass, it's our energy is just out there and everything. And I truly believe that, they can actually help us, guide us to them. So that's it. God bless, and good luck. We're here if you have any questions and need any more help. Thank you.